focusing on Teamcenter. I've also added my email in case anyone would like to contact me after this session. And so we're going to have everybody on mute. If anybody has any questions that come up throughout this webinar, feel free to post it in the chat. Choose to use your phone audio to dial in or use your computer. I will be muting everybody in order to prevent any background noise from coming up. All right, so this webinar is hosted by Oasis Sales. We've been a premier EDA partner with Mentor Graphics, a Siemens business, for over 20 years. You can always reach out to me to get more information on our CAD software, and I'd be happy to get you started with an evaluation. We have learning materials that you can use at your own pace at various costs, or if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. So as you can see, Oasis provides a total solution for enterprise-level EDA and data management solutions. Today we'll be discussing tools for product lifecycle management integrated for both MCAD and ECAD. All right. So what is the challenge that most businesses are experiencing today? In many cases, it is the demand for smarter and connected features within products that is increasing, and it's doing so quickly. To address these trends and new innovation focus areas that require greater speed to market and increased complexity, it is important to ensure the extended team can collaborate across the organization to leverage a product development environment that can bring together the different design domains in a unified development environment. Making this full context or complete product definition available to all the members of the distributed team allows them to design their products effectively while ensuring they meet cost and quality goals. By eliminating silos of information, you can capture, manage, and share the mechanical, electronic, and software designs and share knowledge required for each person and domain involved in the development of the product. So our response to this evolving dynamic is Teamcenter Rapid Start, which acts as a full-featured PDM or product data management tool. This solution will also serve as the entry point into full product lifecycle management, also known as PLM. So the first thing on the agenda is a quick overview of Teamcenter Rapid Start, followed by the benefits your business will see after implementation. Next, we'll go into a discussion, followed by a demo of Teamcenter with both Solidworks and PADS. And then lastly, we'll wrap up with a couple frequently asked questions and have a Q&A session if possible. So we've identified 4 major steps in the path to excellence, and it begins with a close look at what you're doing today. Managing today's products is not as simple as keeping track of your design data. Other information such as documentation, supplier data, manufacturer information, customer requirements, and more all have an impact on what an engineer needs to do. In many cases, engineers find themselves searching through irrelevant information to find the design data they need to work on. And once they find something, oftentimes it is out of date or obsolete. They often struggle to figure out how it got to this point and where it exactly needs to go from there. PDM can help. With PDM, engineers can quickly and easily find exactly what they're looking for. Once you find what you need, you can understand the context of what you're working on without wading through irrelevant information. And PDM provides process management capabilities that help you understand the history of what you're working on and what to do with it moving forward. So let's go over right-sized PDM. For starters, you can deploy it quickly. For quick payback with limited to no IT experience, you need to consider the software capabilities. Are they right for you? And a full-featured PDM system can support your whole business from product development and delivery with flexibility to fit your people and processes. This will actually be discussed a little bit more in the video, but I just wanted to touch on it here for a second. So the idea is to start with PDM and then grow. So essentially, we start with Teamcenter. The entire PLM platform is what you're seeing in the graphic here. Teamcenter Rapid Start is actually the first portion of that, and that is basically to get you started and up and running. One thing we did want to touch on as well is that Teamcenter Rapid Start is tightly integrated with most all major mechanical and electrical CAD tools, meaning that users can be comfortable in their native design system and still get the benefits of PDM. So what we're going to learn today in the video coming up is how Teamcenter can help increase efficiency by over 20%, how the intuitive interface of Teamcenter increases productivity, how a one-week deployment can lead to a fast time to value, how Teamcenter integrates with SolidWorks and PADS through a demonstration of both. All right, so next we're going to look at the benefits of Teamcenter Rapid Start for SolidWorks with Kurt Pennington before he gives a demo.
So hello and welcome to today's presentation. I'm here to speak to you about how we can help you manage your SolidWorks data with a full-featured PDM, or Product Data Management Tool, which can also serve as your entry point into full product lifecycle management, or what's called PLM. I'll start by talking about how Teamcenter Rapid Start can address these three issues: wasted engineering time, what it is costing your company, and about an easy way to resolve this issue. Let's begin with number one. With Teamcenter Rapid Start implementations, we typically see an increase in efficiency by over 20% with our customers. This comes from reclaiming non-value-added time. By non-value-added time, I mean things like searching for data, recreation of data that you thought existed or does exist but you can't locate, or re-entry of data. Outcell, a company that consults on data, information, and analytics, recently discovered that engineers spend 13% more time than in 2002 just searching for information. As products become more complex, more information exists, and although that information is also becoming more accessible, it is still becoming overwhelming. This is not getting better as we move forward, as another independent study shows that there has been an increase in time just spent searching for data. Now, this may seem counterintuitive because we have better access to data, we have faster computers, but as people create more data and we have access to more data, we have to search through more of that data just to find it. Trying to find what we need, and this is actually consuming more of the user's time. Now, on top of that, change happens. Change happens. The customer changes the requirements, or there's analysis that comes back and you have to change your models, but there's always change that's occurring. Now, all of that data is interconnected, so when the change occurs, it's not good enough just to find that single piece of data that has to be changed. We really need to understand what the change will affect upstream and downstream. Otherwise, we may not, see the whole picture, and making a small change can have a huge impact. That impact can cost a lot of money, and if the proper changes aren't handled efficiently or in the way that they need to be handled, it can hurt you on the bottom end. So we need to have this interconnected structure that allows us to be able to find all the affected documents. And Teamcenter manages that environment very, very well. So by using the powerful search capabilities of Teamcenter, I can easily and quickly find my data, the exact data that I need. And I can also understand and see all the relational links of one piece of data to the other pieces. So this way I understand and have visibility to the entire breadth of data that defines my product or item. In this next section, I'll discuss how you'll be able to stay in your CAD or Office tools in which you're comfortable working with while still getting the benefits of Teamcenter Rapid Start. By doing this, this will result in an increase in productivity in the company by giving users direct access to the power and benefits of managed data via Teamcenter without having to switch between various software platforms. So Teamcenter Rapid Start uses the standard Teamcenter integration for SolidWorks, which allows you to reduce product development cycle time and cost by enhancing your SolidWorks environment to deliver a single source of product data for your design and manufacturing teams. The integration provides access to a full range of PDM capabilities to help ensure that the right people get the right information at the right time. Now, using Teamcenter Active Workspace, Users can easily access PLM functions such as search and reuse, structured workflows, change management processes, design relationships, and more from within the native CAD authoring environment. To help maximize designer productivity, the integration enables the designers to create, save, search, and edit SolidWorks objects, including drawings, parts, and assemblies. Users can selectively update in-session models to later versions or revisions without reloading their entire assembly. During the design process, the Rapid Start environment tracks and manages the creation of new product revisions or versions. It updates that work in progress as well. So as a result, designers spend less time finding the correct versions of SolidWorks data. To further improve designer productivity, the Rapid Start integration supports the bidirectional transfer and synchronization of model properties that are helpful when establishing the product structure. This integration also automatically generates and saves neutral file outputs, including PNG, PDFs, JT, and others. Now, if you're not familiar with JT files are an ISO standard CAD neutral that is widely used for 3D visualization. It also has other uses in downstream manufacturing and so on. So if you have files in different, several different CAD formats, you can essentially build an assembly inside of Teamcenter using the JT data from those various CAD system files. That assembly can be viewed, interrogated, or marked up by anyone with the right credentials and permissions within Teamcenter. Now, later in my presentation here, I'll show you a video that shows you some of that functionality. In addition, Office tools are also tightly integrated with Teamcenter. So there is a Teamcenter toolbar right inside of all the Office tools that is extremely intuitive with commands like open, save, revise, and other operations. So this is the great thing about the integration is you can just open Word or Excel as you would normally do, and then you can save to the secure Teamcenter encrypted volume instead of saving to a network or a local drive, where you also run the risk of losing that data the next time you go to look for it. So this immediately puts your documentation into the managed environment where you can take advantage of workflows or other benefits that Teamcenter provides. Teamcenter is tightly integrated into all the major mechanical and electrical CAD players, along with various ERP systems and other systems. Users can be comfortable in the system in which they are accustomed to working and still get the benefits of Teamcenter. So this is just a quote here from the PLM manager at Briggs & Stratton. He basically is saying that Teamcenter is an advanced data management tool, much more advanced than anything that the SolidWorks users would be used to in that SolidWorks world. But at the same time, it's very easy to use because it's embedded right within SolidWorks, so they can get to it very easily. They basically stay in the tool they're familiar with. They do the SolidWorks, the CAD tool, design changes and so on that they know how to do, but they get the benefit of having Teamcenter on the back end. In this last section, I'll talk about getting up and running in as short as 7 days and getting your return on your investment quickly. With Teamcenter Rapid Start, we offer a pre-configured deployment of Teamcenter. Now, by doing this, we can deploy much quicker than a standard deployment, which allows you to really begin using Teamcenter quicker and reap the benefits of that, right? So this gets you that return on investment much sooner than if you were doing a standard full-blown deployment. So here's just an example of what I mean by fast payback and getting that return on investment. So we're looking at basically a Teamcenter Rapid install or deployment in a 10-user example. So in this example, the return on investment for existing SolidWorks customers that we'll be adding Teamcenter is it really adds up very quickly. So the payback is based on a McKinsey report that states that people basically spend about 2 hours on average a day just looking for data. That may be going out to a network drive or a local drive, but trying to find that file. I think we've all experienced, I know the file exists, but where did I put it? And then at the same time, we typically see a lot of, within engineering groups, they're going to have multiple copies of that file, maybe on the server, maybe on workstations, and then it becomes an issue, which of these is really the correct version of file that I want to work with. So using Teamcenter, they can find that data very quickly and shorten that search time. But if you look at that, 2 hours a day per user, I've got 10 users over a year, that adds up to nearly $50,000. So this particular case, or in most Teamcenter, quick deployment cases, we're looking at an implementation that is a smaller business install of Teamcenter Rapid Start. We give you lots of different options for that implementation. There are on-site and cloud-based options that change this formula, obviously, but rebalance, you can rebalance that front-end cost and very quickly see what that is. So another quote from the engineering manager at PowerX: Teamcenter Rapid Start is absolutely the right size for a small company. With one engineer and one IT guy, they were able to support their Teamcenter Rapid Start implementation and expansion. So think about that. It doesn't require a huge IT staff. This is designed to be low maintenance, a low maintenance product, basically. So here I'm going to get into the demonstration. The demonstration moves very quickly. I will address items in that demonstration, but it'd be very difficult for you to see everything that I'm talking about. It does move very quickly. So Teamcenter can be installed just using the add-in tools. Once Teamcenter gets installed, you'll be presented with an icon on the right toolbar that gives you access to what's the active model in session. You can also look at what is in the cache and say, show me only the items in cache that are displayed on my screen. You can also see what's checked out to you as a user. Now from there, I can also get access into the active Workspace interface, which is embedded inside of the Solidworks product. So I have full access to Teamcenter. I also got to get a pull-down menu, which gives me access to Teamcenter functionality as well. Now in this example, what happens, Teamcenter can drive tasks to the user. So in this case, the user has been assigned a task. He can immediately see what that task is inside the Solidworks product, open the affected assembly or parts or whatever needs to change, and then begin working, making the changes that have been requested of him off that task. Now, using the Teamcenter interface, he can also navigate the part. So he can say, show me where this part is used at, or this assembly is used at. And what you see here is a graphical display. You also see the bill of material presented there on the left side. And in this case, we're just navigating up the tree. Where's that assembly used? Where's the next assembly used? Eventually, we get to the top level. Now, from here, the designer wants to focus on that top level assembly and make his changes from there. Now, in the background, Teamcenter is managing this the entire time. It's keeping an audit trail. It's going to understand which parts he affects or changes. So he focuses in on the subassembly using the tools that are presented. He can either save it as a new part, create a copy of it, do a revision of it, whatever he needs to do. In this case, it looks like he's going to create a copy of that subassembly and then do a replacement of the original part inside that particular environment. So now that he's focusing on the subassembly, he can begin making his design changes. So again, using the tools that Teamcenter provides, he can do quick searches for additional parts or data. In this case, he's looking for a different fastener to replace the fastener that exists in that particular assembly. So he's actually querying the Teamcenter database. He's presented with different options. So you can see here that the part that he's replacing out is a much shorter part. Now, anytime he goes in there and pulls parts out, checks something, he has the option to check those parts out to keep somebody else from coming in from behind him and changing the same things that he's trying to change. So it's controlling that entire environment. So now he's going back to that full level assembly, and he's seeing that the change that he made, but he may also want to look at changes that other individuals have made. So you can work collaboratively in that environment based on rules that are in place. And here he can see that there are other models that Teamcenter has detected as being out of date. Keep in mind, he's still in SolidWorks, but he's working very, interactively with Teamcenter. So Teamcenter is going to identify all the parts that have changed while he's been working on in his session, and he can take those and say, you know what, let's update my session to reflect changes that occurred. So what you're going to notice is the table got shortened. Somebody shortened the table while he was working on it, but it didn't necessarily affect his part. You also have drawings that can benefit from the Teamcenter environment. So here we're just creating a drawing as you normally would, but it's also interacting with Teamcenter, grabbing attributes, metadata, bill of material information. So when he goes to balloon this assembly, what's going to happen here are the two systems are going to sync the item IDs. So now, even if he places a bill of material on the drawing, those item IDs will match the same item IDs that exist in Teamcenter. So going back in, now he's, maybe he's done all the changes he needs to do. He's made whatever revisions are necessary. He can save everything back into Teamcenter. It will automatically check things in. If revisions need to occur, he will be notified of that, and those revisions will be taken care of automatically as well. Now, once everything gets checked back into Teamcenter, somebody else can go look at that data. So what you see here is a Teamcenter standalone interface where somebody's bringing up the same parts and assemblies. You can see they use a powerful search tool to locate the parts very quickly. From there, we can look at the various attachments. So we can see there's SolidWorks data behind there, and there's a PDF. Now, Teamcenter generated that PDF automatically for our users, so he didn't have to go out and do that as a secondary step. The visualization is built in. This is available for all users, whether they're CAD users or not. So the great thing about the visualization is that I could have somebody on the factory floor, somebody in purchasing, that can still get visibility to those models. They can interrogate the models, take measurements, and so on without having to tie up a CAD sheet. All right, so I touched on increasing efficiency by over 20%. We typically see that with Teamcenter Rapid Start installments, and many times it's more than that. It is very intuitive user interface. You get productivity across the organization because it's tightly integrated with your CAD products, in this case SolidWorks, or even your office applications. And because Siemens and our partners have done deployments hundreds, thousands of times, we can get it installed quickly, we can get you up and running quickly, and we can do it, efficiently for you so you can get that return on investment. And so in review, I walked you through PDM. It's a quick presentation, pre-configured PDM solution, but keep in mind, it supports mechanical CAD and electrical CAD tools. It establishes a single source of product-related data, and it provides a growth path from PDM to PLM if you ever need to move that direction. It deploys quickly and cost-effectively for your fast return on investment. And again, it requires a minimal IT staff to support it. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I will hand the presentation over to Brian.
I am Brian DeShazer. I'm going to go over the integrations between PADS and Teamcenter. We'll see here, I'll go ahead and start this. We build a Teamcenter menu into PADS so that all the functions that a designer needs to do, like search for and open designs, save designs, check them in, check them out, revise them, initiate workflows, and receive workflows, do BOM compares, those kind of standard things that you do from on a daily basis for a designer are available through the Teamcenter menu that's embedded in PADS. So either PADS Designer, or if you're using PADS Logic, same menu, and also the PADS Layout for the PCB side. So to start with, we'll go ahead and do a save as, save this design into Teamcenter. You can see we pulled 3 part numbers for the design, the assembly, the schematic, and the bare board, so that we can have the bare board represented in the bill of material. See, the integration has already pulled the next 3 available part numbers from our Teamcenter system, so whatever numbering scheme you have in Teamcenter for this, roll this forward a little bit, as well as initial names. And we can change the names here to protect the innocent to what we want. And then we can decide whether we want to check the design in or not. Are we done working on it? Do we want visualization files? We'll talk about that in a little bit. And do we want the bill of material? Now, at this point, you can finish, and it will save the design to Teamcenter. It will create these 3 part numbers and upload the project to Teamcenter, create the bill of material. But there is a common configuration that most every customer that I have does, and it's called derived items and derived files. So I have a sample configuration in my system, and I'll go ahead and show that. The first extra screen that we'll get to is derived items. So like I said, we create 3 part numbers in Teamcenter for the design. Some companies need additional part numbers for their design, so we give you the capability of defining extra part numbers for the design. So I have a sample here with like an extra item to create the drawing itself, so it could be a separately revisable drawing, and an item to contain my manufacturing stuff, the stuff that I'm sharing with my board supplier, let's say. But this is a completely configurable list. It's different for every customer, and if you don't need extra items in your structure, then you won't see the screen. And then we can change the ID and names for those as we do. The second part of derived data is the actual derived data. So this would be things like output data, like your ODB plus files, your Gerber files, maybe a PDF of the schematic, those type of things. We can save these to their own separate data containers anywhere in the project structure that you want. And this makes it easier for downstream users to get to this data, and makes it more accessible to the rest of the company. And again, this is a completely configurable list. Yours probably will look similar since these are kind of normal type output files, but you configure it the way you want. So we'll go ahead and run this forward. We'll do the save through the magic of AVI. The save happens immediately. And like I said, if you're in PCB Layout, you get the PADS Layout, you get the same menu. And I'm just going to save the layout side here. You can see that it already has the same part number as the project from before. And I get the same options to have derived items and files on the layout side. So let's go look in Teamcenter at what we created. So I just go over to Teamcenter and do a quick search. I believe I named these starting pad something. And here we can see the project, the schematic, and the board part number as created. If I open up the project, you can see the bill of materials with all the part numbers, as well as the reference designators for this design. So all the symbols that were populated in that schematic layout when we saved it are referenced in the bill of material, along with their information that Teamcenter knows about those components, as well as the logic designator from the ref des from this design. You can see I'm in a pack view for my bill of material. So in other words, the first capacitor in the list, I've got, 7, 8 of those capacitors. You can see how it lists those in there. In addition to the bill of material, let's look at the structure that got created. So I'll just go into our relations area and show the project. And as a child of the project, we'll see a separate part number for the schematic itself, as well as a part number for the bare board down at the bottom, so that we can represent the board itself in the structure. And then since we configured derived items, you can see my extra items I created to derive the drawing and the manufacturing item. If we open up the schematic, we can do that directly from the Relations tab. You can see the design data set and the visualization file for the schematic. And if I open the drawing item, you see that it's got a schematic PDF. That's part of our derived data that we saved. And if I open the manufacturing, there's my ODB++, my PDF of my manufacturing drawing, and my Gerber files. These, again, are some of that output data that I saved through the save process. And if I want to look at any of them, I can say, I want to look at the schematic drawing, and it'll open that up in the visualization here so that I can see it. And if I want to look at, let's say, the manufacturing drawing, I can do the same thing. And so I'll look at the manufacturing drawing, see everybody's on mute, so I can't hear them, or nobody actually laughs at my jokes anyway. But let me back that up 10 seconds here. And we're going to do an open now. So I saved this design. I showed the structure within Teamcenter that it created. What I want to do is show a little bit more of the functionality from the pad side. So you notice I also have icons in my menu bars for Teamcenter functions. So I'm going to open a design from Teamcenter and load it into pads. So I'll click that, and you can see the dialog is the same dialog that I had when I was in the pad when I went to Teamcenter. So it's I'm using the Teamcenter Active Workspace client, and I just tell it that I want to open for modifications the pads design, and it loads it into pads. And then I can submit it to a workflow, let's say, so I can do a design approval workflow. So all of these functions are available to me directly from pads. I don't have to keep hopping around between different systems. So you can keep your designer in your CAD tool. And here I'm just attaching the design as a target of this workflow. I also have the option of attaching reference items, either from Teamcenter or from my operating system if I had additional data that I wanted to attach to this workflow. And the workflow gets submitted. And after the workflow is submitted, directly from pads, I can go to my inbox and check the workflow and see that it's sitting in my design review task, and it's on Larry Marvick's desk, waiting for their problem or for their review. And then the last I wanted to show is the visualization, because I talked about saving the visualization files. So I hopped back over to my Teamcenter client, to my Teamcenter web client here, and I'm going to go and look at the output from the PCB layout. So this is a visualization file that got created when I saved the PCB layout. So this is a way for me to look at the design from a Teamcenter system without needing pads. This is a visualization. You can see I'm looking for components, I'm looking for net for this design, so I can interrogate this design. Now let's go get the schematic layout and open it up in visualization here, and I can cross-probe between the two of them. So I got the schematic and the PCB open, so if I find R2, it finds it in both sides, both schematic and layout. And of course, if you search for R2, you have to search for D2, right? We also have markup and interrogation capabilities, so I can apply some dimensions, put some text in, whatever I need to document a design review for it. And that's what I wanted to show to you today.
All right. So let's get back into this. All right. So with Teamcenter Rapid Start, engineers can quickly and easily find what they need, and then they'll know what to do with it once they do. Transparent PDM enables user-friendly documentation management, and their products and their corresponding documentation are managed together so that all documentation that defines a part or assembly is aligned with the product itself. This provides the user with clear visibility to the information driving a product's development. Flexible change management with clear impact analysis and change tracking help you implement change quickly, accurately, and effectively. And so in review, we've walked you through what Teamcenter Rapid Start can offer you as a pre-configured PDM solution that supports multiple mechanical CAD and electronic CAD tools, establishes a single source of the product-related data, provides a growth path from PDM to PLM. It deploys quickly, cost-effectively for a fast return, and it requires the minimal IT support. So we've also shown you how Teamcenter Rapid Start can achieve this with both PADS and SolidWorks. All right, so we do have a page for a couple frequently asked questions. The first is, what are the customization options for Teamcenter Rapid Start? And so for that, Teamcenter Rapid Start is specially designed to cater to small and medium-sized businesses' PDM requirements. These small to medium-sized customers who do not have the big IT infrastructure don't want to get into customization complexities, but instead need easy to install, easy to use, pre-configured packages. That is why we do not recommend customization with Rapid Start. The next question is, will my version of CAD tools, if it's older, work with Teamcenter Rapid Start? Because some older versions of various CAD tools are not supported, it's best if we actually look at your company's specific tool setup to determine the best path to PDM. If this is a question that you might have, feel free to send me an email, and I'd be happy to take a look. And so the last question we get a lot is, how much does Rapid Start cost? So Teamcenter pricing is actually heavily dependent on the number of users you have. So if this is, again, something you're interested in learning more about, please send me an email, and then we'll have a discussion with a local representative who can kind of take a look and get you the best possible option for that. All right, one thing I did want to touch on is some of the other services that we offer from Oasis. So today we discussed how Teamcenter Rapid Start can help you and your organization become more efficient and stay competitive. It's important to note that the software is only as smart as the user. The proper implementation, customization, and training is actually key to a successful deployment with any sophisticated technology. Oasis provides services that are tailored to solve the challenges that companies across the world face in their day-to-day work environment. So our goal is to help companies like yours bring the most advanced products and technologies from concept through design, production, and into service. So here's a list of the other domains that we specialize in. Like I've said before, if you have any questions or any interest in finding out more about this sort of stuff, please reach out to myself or anyone at Oasis. All right, so we'll kind of go into a couple of questions that have been posted in the chat as we went through. And so the first one was basically, can Rapid Start be purchased without purchasing the full version of Teamcenter? And the answer to that is yes. Most people, when they go into Teamcenter Rapid Start, they do so with the plan of expanding into full Teamcenter. But absolutely, you can kind of keep Rapid Start as the pre-configured option if that's what works best for your company. Another question we got was about the 3D PDF capabilities, and they asked if it has the ability to display dimensions. So I think with that one, I might ask Kurt Pennington to take that, if he doesn't mind.
Sure. So if the 3D dimensions are in the PDF originally, and maybe they're just on a separate layer, obviously we can turn those various layers on or off to expose those dimensions. I wasn't sure if your question was asking, can I take new dimensions? Can I actually measure within the PDF? I may have to get some clarification on this, but I believe because we're going to bring that PDF into Teamcenter, we have measurement tools within Teamcenter, and we can probably also leverage the tools that basically come with like Adobe and take those measurements as well. So I think we can get the measurements if they don't exist, but at the same time, if measurements are already there, we can expose those as well.
All right, great. Thank you, Kurt. So does anybody else have any more questions we might be able to help you out with today? If so, you can feel free to post those in the chat. Great. So in the meantime, I am going to, let me go ahead and put up my contact information again. And that way, if you have any further questions, you can feel free to reach out and ask those, and we'd be happy to talk with you. All right, well, it doesn't look like there's too many more questions, but like I said, once again, you know, if anything does come up, or if you think of something in the next, 10 minutes after you get off the call or something, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to help, and so is the rest of Oasis. All right, thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.